things that you may be finding difficult these days is getting onto the court and training. As you can see, even here in this public park, the net is heated up, and most likely the courts that you play at, the clubs that you play at are closed. So one thing that you can do is try to find a wall that you can hit against. Now this particular court has a nice wall that we can use, but you might find just a building, an elementary school, that has a wall that has no windows in it that you can just go and hit against. So our goal today is to give you some things to think about as you hit against a wall. This is something I used to do as a kid all the time when I was 6, 8, 10 years old. Would always go and hit against the wall because the courts were always taken. So it really helped me become a much more consistent player and a much more focused player. And so we want to do some drills today to help you do that same thing in about 20 to 25 minutes. So for those of you who are not necessarily used to practicing against a wall or a backboard, I just want to go through a few different tips that you can use to stay focused, stay mentally engaged, and you really don't even need to work out on the wall that long to get a lot out of it. So the first thing I want to do is when we're first warming up, just start even using your continental grip and just going nice and easy side to side with some slice forehands, some slice backhands. So nice and easy. Ball in front, keep the feet moving. One trick to try here is as you're hitting the ball, you almost want to visualize the path that you want the ball to follow. That way, as you're seeing the ball coming and you're taking your racket back, you're thinking about where I'm going to make contact with the ball, and you're going to send it along a specific path. That'll help you make it more accurate. So when we look at the wall here, I want to try to keep my shots somewhere in here, amongst these 3 stars. And I do that by thinking about that path that I want the ball to travel the entire time. So you notice that by just staying really fully engaged and focused that way, I'm able to keep the ball more or less in that target area. So that's a great way to first warm up here on the wall. As you start to get a little bit warmer, then you can start hitting your full ground strokes. Now, I like to maybe work on one ground stroke at a time to focus on that. So I'm going to start off with the forehand, and I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to visualize that path of the ball, and I'm going to try to hit all forehands as I go through this. And all of them, I'm going to try to get to that same spot, and I'm visualizing that path. Alright, so there's a good bit on the forehand. So another thing that we can work on when we're on the wall is working on our volley. And one of the things I like to add to that is making sure that we have a nice wide base with our feet, because that gives us a lot of balance. When we're volleying, we can be much stronger, just really right on our feet. We can make those low volleys better. And as we're doing this, one of the things that we want to work on is making sure we're not bending our back, but instead kind of sitting down a little bit more in our seat as a way of getting to that low volley. So not this, but I want to do this a little bit more. So just going to work nice and easy against the wall, kind of back and forth between forehand and backhand again. And then as we go along, maybe add a little bit more speed to it. So I'll start off nice and slow. Again, I'm trying to hit to a specific spot every time. You can see the wide base, letting that really drive everything. And I'm really watching the ball come off the wall. Now I can pick up the speed a little bit. Make good hands for doubles. So that's a really great way to work on your hands, work on your stance, be much more balanced, be actually more accurate with where your volley is going to go when you have that nice wide base. Another thing that we can work on solo against the wall is our serve. Now, again, I think for this we also have to make sure we have a target that we're hitting to as we go through. So let's just hit a few serves, and again, we're going to focus on that particular spot between the stars. Now, I don't have any lines here to necessarily indicate where I would be hitting a serve from, say, the baseline. So I'm just going to guesstimate that this is a good spot. And I haven't hit any serves yet today, so I'm just going to start off nice and slow. The same thing, I'm going to be visualizing where that ball is going to go off of my racket. Don't want to rush the serves either. Just take your time, try to hit good quality serves. So as you go along, you can start putting a little bit more pace on there. You can start working on your second serve. Maybe what you could even then do is do a serve plus the first next ball, or the first two. So let's try that. Do like a serve plus one. So I'm gonna hit my serve, and then I'm gonna look to hit a forehand. Really simple serve plus two pattern there. So again, great ways to stay engaged, stay focused against the wall. Obviously, you've got no one else here to play with, so use the wall as somebody who never misses. Gives you an opportunity to hit a ton of balls, and like I said earlier, you get your workout done in, say, 20-25 minutes, and you've hit a lot of balls. Oh, that's tiring.